Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm very glad you're here. It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Um, the evening is here, and just seemed like a good time to do a little drinking and a little thinking. So come join me if you will. I'd be honored if you would. Bring what you got, or I mean, heck, don't bring anything at all. I certainly won't judge. The important thing is that we have a good time and that we learned something today that we didn't know yesterday. So, that being said, I brought the old Earl Grey, the trusty Earl Grey. I don't think you can go wrong with a cup of Earl Grey. So, yeah. That being said, cheers to you and Jesus too. Earl Grey and honey, phenomenal. Can't beat it. Anyway, quick article I wanted to share with you guys. For those of you who don't know, I live in California, which is just one big pile of fun. It just never ends here. And I just kind of wanted to share a short little article with you to kind of give you a picture of how fun it is here. All the stuff we enjoy here in the state of California. And I know when I was doing military duty, traveling around the states and talking to people, they had kind of this impression of California. And I mean, not even just military duty, just going to other states, talking to people. They have this Hollywood perspective of California. What you see in movies and TV and the pictures, you got palm trees and surfboards and whatnot. And that's a very rosy picture. I'll just phrase it that way. It's not true for the most part. I mean, yeah, we have beaches and surfboards and palm trees and whatnot, but it's a very big state and there's a lot going on, and a lot of it isn't good. And that kind of ties into the article, which is from the Epic Times. Phenomenal news agency, by the way. They're fantastic. Check out the Epic Times. Love them. Good people. But this is by a guy named Mark Capscott with the wonderful title of California Controller Wrote 49 Million Checks. That's a lot of checks. But claims she can't locate any of them. Lost. She lost 49 million checks. Uh, I laugh because if I didn't, I would cry. Anyway, I'll just read the article. We'll dive right into it. All right, the article reads as follows. As California State Controller, Betty Yee's job includes being, quote, responsible for accountability and disbursement of the state's financial resources, end quote, according to her office's official website. Yee's office issued 49 million checks and payments worth $320 billion. Wow. In 2018, in her capacity as, quote, chief fiscal officer for the state, whose economy is the fifth largest in the entire world. The state's 2020 budget was $208.9 billion. But Yee's office payments often cover multiple year obligations. Her job description also makes her, quote, responsible for auditing all funds disbursed by the state and all claims presented for payment to her office. Performs independent audits of government agencies that spend state funds, end quote. Given Yee's job duties and actions, Open the Book's chairman, Adam, oh boy, I'm going to butcher that terribly. So I'm just going to call him Mr. A. I apologize, Adam. I'm sorry. I'm going to call you Mr. A. May be forgiven for being mystified by the California State Controller's claim to be, quote, unable to locate or otherwise provide documentation of any of those payments. The State of California State Controller's Office does not maintain a centralized vendor contract database which would allow it to identify all contracts regardless of the agency awarding such contract. Ye's general counsel Richard Chiavaro told Mr. A's group in a November 6, 2019 letter. That letter was in response to a series of requests made by Open the Books beginning in 2013 under the California Public Records Act, CPRA. Open the Books requests sought documentation, a line-by-line state checkbook of California's massive state government spending. To date, California is the only one of the nation's 50 states that haven't produced such documentation in response to the Burr Ridge, Illinois-based nonprofit efforts to make public, quote, every dime online in real time of spending by government at all levels in the United States. In fact, many state contracts are paid for directly by the contracting agency. This procedure allows the contracting agency to make such payments as expeditiously as possible, thereby taking advantage of an early payment discount which may be available, Chiavaro said. Moreover, the Comptroller's office receives literally thousands of claims for payment daily. Claims are batched by date received and are not segregated, logged, or otherwise tracked by agency, employee, or payment type. Consequently, because of the way the claims are batched and processed by this office, we are unable to locate or otherwise provide you with the documents requested. Open the Books first began seeking, quote, various records concerning state spending information, including records reflecting line-by-line vendor payments, the group told the California Superior Court in its suit filed last year. The group is represented in the suit by the Cause of Action Institute, a public interest law firm that litigates on behalf of government accountability and individual liberty. Despite repeated attempts to obtain an adequate response from the Comptroller, plaintiffs have instead faced at various points delay, silence, obfuscation, and inadequate justification for the agency's refusal to provide a reasoned determination and responsive records, Open the Books told the court. Plaintiffs first filed a CPRA request for state checkbook data in 2013, over 6 years ago, but to date, and after repeated requests, the Comptroller has failed to disclose any relevant records. It is beyond dispute that the public records at issue are subject to disclosure under the CPRA, notwithstanding the Comptroller's protests. The situation now requires judicial intervention. Mr. A told the Epoch Times on May 13, a certain virus slowed our suit down, but we're pushing for the summary judgment now because we think we will win. He didn't know when the court would issue a decision on a summary judgment motion. We always knew California would be a dogfight, Mr. A told the Epoch Times. A spokesman for Ye acknowledged the Epoch Times request for comment, but didn't provide a response by the deadline. A spokesman for Governor Gavin Newsom, who faces a recall election, couldn't be reached. We've sued 2 other states. We expect to win in California, and we're undefeated in these suits, Mr. A said. He noted that while California's Ye is a Democrat, the officials involved in the other 2 states, Illinois and Wyoming, that required litigation to obtain requested spending records, were both Republicans. In Illinois, am I butchering that? Apologies if I am. Mr. A, Republican Comptroller Judy Barr Topinka, claimed the state doesn't have a magical checkbook, so we reminded her that the state doesn't have magical taxpayers either. In Wyoming, he said, Open the Books sued, quote, state auditor Cynthia Cloud, who claimed it would take years and years for the state to produce its checkbook. By taking this anti-transparency stance in Red Wyoming, Cloud made herself politically toxic and never ran for office again. Cloud eventually relented, but then delayed for months on end in producing the records. Her successor, within a month of taking office, produced all the records Open the Books had requested, plus another year's worth that hadn't been sought, and refunded an $8,000 check the nonprofit had paid to cover the costs Cloud said were involved in producing the records. Open the Books required no litigation to obtain spending records it sought from the other 47 states, he said. The group also regularly receives spending data from virtually all of the nation's 500 most populous cities. We even get the checkbooks from the historically, systematically corrupt Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Mr. A said. We do get the second set of books from there. And that is that. 49 million checks worth $320 billion missing. And obviously not the only state, but certainly probably the most. That's a lot of freaking money. So anyway, sorry to dispel your notions of a wonderful, peaceful, happy California. And for those of you who think that it is that way, I would simply like to say, welcome to California. We have corrupt politicians, earthquakes, fires, high taxes, crumbling infrastructure, soaring costs of living, rampant poverty, a drug epidemic, a homeless epidemic. Enjoy your stay. Anyway, and this kind of ties into what I've been saying in a few videos now, and I really want to hit the point home. The problem is we have a giant pot of taxpayer money just sitting there. I mean, you think about it, we have all sorts of taxes and fees and fines, and that creates this large pile of money. And when you have a large pile of money, you have corrupt, horrible people who will quite literally say and do anything to get at that pot. And it leads to bad things. I mean, I think we all can agree, you know, we don't like corruption, right? We don't like lying and cheating the system. The problem is, like I said, when you have a lot of money sitting there, you attract some very bad people. And when you have bad people in charge, it leads to incompetency, right? Like I said earlier, we have infrastructure crumbling, corrupt politicians everywhere. This isn't just a California problem, this is everywhere. But I'm of the opinion that California is one of the worst. I live here. I'm biased, of course, but it's pretty bad here. It's everywhere. I mean, and that's the thing, you know, whether California has high taxes. Well, when you have high taxes, you have a lot of money sitting there. Bad people want that money. And not only do you have corruption, but on the other, you have the other side effect of that is corrupt people aren't the most competent. You know what I mean? If they were, they'd get a real job, right? Well, these incompetent people hire other incompetent people. Now, I don't know Miss Yee, Betty Yee, I don't know what her deal is. I don't know if she's corrupt or if she's incompetent, but either way, these checks went missing. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she was incompetent and just wasn't tracking the checks. Just my opinion, just from the situation that I've read about. I've gone into it a little bit more than what the article states. I've read some other things, but just my opinion, just the vibe I get. I really think it was just incompetence. They just weren't tracking it. And like I said, when you have incompetent politicians, you have incompetent and ineffective leaders, corrupt leaders, who don't know what they're doing, aren't fit for the job, they're just after the money and the status. They hire people like this. So I really want that to sink in, where corruption has multiple issues. It isn't just, oh, we have bad politicians. You know, I mean, yes, that is the biggest issue, but it also has other side effects that I don't see people talking about either. And like I said, that incompetent people hire incompetent people for the most part. I mean, it's rare that somebody who's incompetent has the foresight to hire people that are smarter than them or more capable than them. I mean, it's just kind of human nature. History's proven this point over and over and over again. And even currently, like I said, I look around, I see corruption and incompetence everywhere. So I trust my eyes more than spokespeople or media presenters. Just throwing that out there. So, anyway, my 2 cents. Just throwing that out there. There's corruption, uh, and we can we can do something about it. You know, kind of switch gears here, but that's kind of the message I also wanted to throw out. I don't get why more people don't do something about this. You know, I want to do something about this, and I'm taking actions to try and change things, but I don't know. I see this attitude everywhere I go, and I look around, and people are just kind of fatalistic, really just down, and what are you going to do about it? And politicians, and they just kind of wave their hand like, oh, this is just politics. This is how it is. Well, no. No, I don't accept that for 1 second. I don't accept that at all. Not at all. Am I willing to just lie down and accept this? I'm sorry, but I can't. So, like I said, I'm taking massive action personally. And you'll see in the future. I mean, maybe it'll go nowhere, but at least I tried, right? And I'm kind of disheartened to see. It's sad to see so many people just kind of almost give up. I mean, I see plenty of people that are unhappy with it. They'll complain about it, but they won't do anything. And it just kind of in the back of my mind, I come up with the term, the silent majority. Oh, we're the silent majority. Well, if you're the majority, why are you silent? If we're the majority, why don't we do something? I mean, if there's more of us, let's stop this. Let's do something about this. And it's not like we're helpless. There's processes and procedures and laws and court rulings and doctrines and precedents. The Constitution, I mean, we have tools available to stop this. We live in a republic. This isn't a monarchy. This is our government. We can do something. But if you just sit around and complain about it, nothing's going to happen. So, just personally, just from me to you, I want to challenge you to do something, anything. And it's never been more easy in history to become more active in politics, local or national. I think you can make a bigger difference locally, school board, city council, mayor, that kind of thing. But I mean, look, nowadays it's the information it's everywhere. We got the internet. A lot of city council meetings are online now, due to the virus thing going around. They moved them all online, so you don't even have to go to the meetings anymore. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. Get involved. They do comments publicly online. You just have to have a microphone. And if you have a laptop, most of them come with a microphone and a camera. There's not much to it these days. It's never been more easy to get connected. There's meetup sites, there's email. Well, everybody's got a phone now. It's not like the olden days where you had to send out a million mailers and hopefully people show up to your meeting. I mean, it's social media. I mean, there's just so many ways for us to get together and make change happen. And I'm excited. I think it's wonderful. But at the same time, it's a little disheartening to see that people don't utilize these tools. So like I said, I just want to encourage you, just personally, me to you, get out there, do something. I mean, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I don't want to give it away too much, and that's beyond the scope of this video, but I just want you to know that I'm taking action. It's not huge, it's not massive, but I'm trying. I really am, and I want to encourage you to do the same. Just get with people that think like you, that are tired and fed up with the way things are, and just come up with a plan. Do something. This is our government. Let's take it back. Let's take massive action and make it right. I mean, not perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but let's make things better. Let's move forward. So, yeah, little pep talk. I really hope that sinks in. I don't know. I'm just passionate about this stuff, and I want the passion to go through the camera and just right into your heart. I get excited about this stuff. So, anyway, sorry if it was a bit much for you, but I get excited. Anyway, yeah, not much to say after that. thinking I covered everything. Got the article. Oh yeah, real quick, I just wanted to point out in the article they state, it was bipartisan. This wasn't just a Democrat issue. Here in California is controlled by Democrats, but it's both sides of the aisle. Like I said earlier, there's people on both sides of the aisle. There's a giant pot of money. They'll say whatever, they'll do whatever to get a hold of it, and that includes joining parties. If they think the Republican Party will give them access to the money and power, they'll go Republican. If they think Democrats going to give them access to the money and power, they'll go Democrat. And unfortunately, the parties have abdicated their responsibilities completely on weeding these people out. But then again, they're after the money and power too, so I don't know. We can do better. So, yeah. I know I said I was done, but I think I'm done now. I could go on forever about this stuff, but I shouldn't. Got to keep the video short. So anyway, that being said, I really hope that I said something today that touched your heart and motivated you to do something, anything. I hope you check out the article, the Epic Times, the Open Book Foundation. I'm going to link all that in the description below. Good people doing good things, honest journalism, open transparency in government, wonderful stuff. Please check them out. Leave me a comment below. I love comments. I love discussion. Not even just like, I don't want an echo chamber. If you have a different opinion, please feel free to disagree with me. I hope you tune in again. I hope to see you again. I love doing this. It's great. It's great. This kind of stuff. I love spreading the news and the truth and all that. Getting together with people and hopefully making some action happen. So, yeah. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I hope you'll tune in again. Take care, everyone. Good night. California.